Good morning, everyone. I welcome you to a chilly Thursday, January 23rd, 2025, Tumwater Public Works Committee meeting. And with us today, we have Council Member Jefferson, Council Member Althauser, and myself, Council Member Swarthout. So we're just going to hit it. Our first item on our agenda, if there aren't any changes, we will go to agenda item number 3, grant agreement with the Department of Ecology for the Beehive Industrial Area Stormwater Retrofit Design Project. And take it away, Dave. Good morning, Dave.
Good,
Hey,
good
Meredith.
morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, Meredith and I are going to tag team this one. So this is a grant agreement for the Beehive Industrial Area for some stormwater retrofit design work that we're proposing to do. And I think Meredith has some slides if she wants to share. She can take it away from here.
Absolutely. Good morning, all. You know it's got to be something I'm bringing you if I've made the name of it incredibly long. So like Dave mentioned, I'm here to talk a little bit about the Beehive Industrial Stormwater Area retrofit. The presentation is going to cover the grant agreement along with the service provider agreement. The service provider agreement didn't quite make it through legal review yet, so you'll end up seeing this again on your next Public Works Committee. But since they're both tied to the same project, I figured I'd just cover them both here now to make it a little bit easier. And I guess to get started, this is all work that's kind of based off of some work that we've brought to you over kind of the last 2 years. So a lot of this is based in stormwater planning. If you remember, we had come before talking about the stormwater management action planning. And the goal there was to really get a better understanding of the receiving waters in Tumwater. So where is all of our stormwater going? What rivers and creeks is it flowing to? And to kind of assess and help prioritize where Tumwater is going to focus some of its projects and program efforts to help improve the health of those streams and the health of our stormwater runoff. So one of the first steps that we had taken that Dave led, I think back in 2023 now, was prioritizing receiving waters. And the goal was to be able to determine what areas in Tumwater would be most impacted by Tumwater's stormwater runoff. You know, what is the land use in those areas and where might we be able to make the biggest impact? And after a lot of studying and help from a previous consultant, Herrera, we were able to determine that Percival Creek, which runs mostly through the center of Tumwater, is one of these areas where Tumwater has a really big influence on the health of Percival Creek. And so that's where we decided to focus and prioritize some of our actions. A lot of these actions from this MAP process are focused on land management strategies. So whether that's the Water Resources Department working with community development to discuss zoning and permitting, or programmatic enhancements, like we're going to decide to do more outreach about natural lawn care, or we're going to do more street sweeping in these areas. And the big one, and the one I'm talking to you all today about, is stormwater retrofits. So when working with Herrera last year or so, I ended up determining that there were two kind of priority areas within this kind of priority subbasin that we call in the Trosper Lake subbasin that would really help to improve the health of Percival Creek. And the one I'm talking to you all today is the Beehive Industrial Area.
Meredith,
Yes.
just a comment for the next time you brief it, if you can just show a more detailed map of Percival Creek.
Okay.
That would be helpful for our viewers. Okay.
Absolutely.
That's it.
And I'm happy to go back here super quick. Percival Creek runs from Trosper Lake, which is kind of in the center of this image, all the way down through kind of the center of Tumwater before it hits Capitol Lake. But I can absolutely bring a clearer image, but just a little bit of place setting for all of us today. Awesome. So when we're thinking about the Beehive Industrial Area specifically, we're talking about this kind of 55-acre area just kind of along Trosper Road, west of the I-5 intersection. There's a number of different land uses here. It's zoned light industrial. We have mechanics and car welders. We've got some self-storage facilities, a whole big mix of things in this area. And right now, there's little to no stormwater infrastructure. There's some roadside ditches, but some of them have been filled in. And the area tends to see, when we get rain, a good amount of flooding. You'll have ponding, water coming out onto the road. And because of this, and we have little stormwater treatment, it's a really high priority because it all drains to Percival Creek, and that's the area where we're really trying to focus on improving water quality and habitat. This all kind of came together as the perfect opportunity for us to be able to kind of do something in this area. So what we're proposing to do is to install a series of kind of linear bioretention facilities. The photo in the bottom right-hand corner is an example of a bioretention facility. In general, these are kind of long linear cells, which have a specific mix of kind of soil and media, and then some plants in there. In general, they do a really great job of treating stormwater. They help to capture water off of the roadway, and they help to enhance curb appeal. And so we are proposing to work with a consultant to help do some of these facilities in the right of way along Lambskin, Joppa, and there's one tire line ditch between two parcels that Tumwater has an easement in that we're also proposing to do that in as well. The screenshot in the upper right-hand corner is just a little taste of kind of what one of these linear facility plans looks like from the previous consultant who'd worked on this. With all of these kind of opportunities and priorities in mind, Tumwater was able to secure grant funding from the Department of Ecology last year. This is funding to complete 90% designs and permitting on stormwater facilities, and it runs until January of 2027. In total, Tumwater is able to secure an 85% grant with a 15% match coming from the Tumwater Stormwater Utility Fund. In total, we're anticipating the project, this design phase at least, will cost about $220,000. This is the grant agreement that I'm bringing today for you all to consider moving forward. What Dave, I think, will end up coming back next week with is the service provider agreement for the design team that has been selected to complete this work. So Dave led the effort for a competitive request for qualifications process to hire a design firm for this. Fuller Designs ended up coming to the top after reviewing their statement of qualifications and interviewing them as well. Their scope of work will include data collection, doing the engineering design, submitting permitting, and creating specification documents, kind of everything that we would need in order to take the project forward to construct it soon. In total, their service provider agreement runs through July of 2027, so about the same time frame, and allows for a little bit of wiggle room in terms of maybe there are some updates or things that might need to take place to get the designs to 100%. And right now, their budget is about $180,000. So the little box is reminding everybody that we have a $220,000 grant. If we don't end up using it all, that's fine, but that also can help cover things like staff time and costs associated with Tumwater staff reviewing plans and things like that. So in total, that is kind of the scope of the project. Ultimately, we think that we're going to be able to get this done pretty quickly. We're hoping to sign the grant agreement and service provider agreement in February of this year. That would allow us to begin the data collection phase and kind of the spring Q1 and Q2 here. Then we'd spend the rest of the summer pretty much working on designs with Fuller, making sure that they're getting the information they need, working with the Department of Ecology to review the design, and then applying for permits partway through. Our goal right now is to be able to complete designs by October. That would allow us to align really well with the next grant window that Ecology offers to hopefully secure construction funding for this type of a project. The good news about the Department of Ecology and the funding source that we have historically been using is they offer it every single year. So if October doesn't end up working out, we can apply again in October of 2026, depending on how things go and staff time and the ability to manage something like that. That is kind of what we have in a nutshell. Again, because it's a fairly straightforward project, and we're working with a design firm that has experience and history doing this, we feel pretty confident about it. But we're really excited to get started, and this is kind of the first retrofit project that is coming out of our big SMAP work to really take the next step forward. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions before Dave will hop back on and do the staff recommendation.
Good questions. I was curious when the area of this on Somerset Drive also has a walking path next to it. And I'm curious if that would be one of the, because I realize that Trustford Road is a difficult road for some people to walk on with not as many as far as having sidewalks and that type of thing. Will we be looking at putting in kind of a walking path or anything, or sidewalk improvements in that area?
Yeah, that's a great question. The scope of the stormwater work, we're really trying to keep that north of Trosper Road, so just along Joppa and Lambskin in there. We're trying to do it within the right of way, and so right now what we're thinking is that we'll just have room for the most part in order to put in stormwater facilities, but with the goal of placing them in a place where it makes sense at some point as the sites maybe get redeveloped for sidewalk to be added. I
Mhm.
know that our thinking and keeping things north of Trosper is that the transportation engineering department have some plans to be able to improve Trosper Road, which would include sidewalks. But because the timing of those plans and the timing of this grant funding haven't quite aligned, we aren't taking on the Trosper section just yet.
Okay. All right, I don't see any more questions. Okay, Dave, do you want me to read the recommended action, or do you want to read it?
Yeah, if you have it in front of you, I'll you know, I don't have it right in front of
I
me.
do. I have it up. All
Okay,
right.
perfect.
All right, team. So before us, we have a recommended action to place the grant agreement with the Department of Ecology for the Beehive Industrial Area Stormwater Retrofit Design Project on the February 4th, 2025 Council Consent Calendar, with a recommendation to approve and authorize the mayor to sign.
So move.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Thank you. Another great project. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. All right, we're moved right along, and now we have resolution number R 2025-002, 2025 fee resolution. And good morning, Troy.
Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Mhm.
Okay, good. I have some audio issues every once in a while, so just want to make sure. I have a very short presentation. I'll pull that up and share it. Okay. So this is an update to the fee resolution, and we just passed the fee resolution for 2025 back in October, November of 2024. But as seems to happen, we do sometimes have some mistakes, and that's what happened here. There's a couple fees, very small fees we forgot to include, and then there was a chunk of fees on table 4 that we simply goofed and didn't get them on here. So we'll go over those briefly. If I can move my slides, there we go. So on table 1, this is actually a couple kind of new fees, kind of not. The main one, the hearings examiner fee. So we have a hearings examiner fee already, but it's very high. It's in the thousands of dollars, and that was intended for major things like a development or big project kind of things where someone might want to appeal a land use hearing, application or something like that. This fee is now. We needed another one because there's like, let's say if we do some code enforcement work on a property, it's not fair for someone over a code enforcement issue to have to pay $1,300 or $2,300 for a hearings examiner. And so that's what this is. It's a much smaller fee that makes it reasonable. And then there's also a note that if the person that's appealing, if that appeal is upheld, then we don't charge them the fee.
Troy,
Yes.
that is that's a good thing, because very rarely do you hear about a reduction in fees. So let's highlight that.
Yes, that's a very good thing. So let's see this. Thought I had. Oh, I skipped over one when I was messing with my slides. Okay, this is also on table 1. This is a very small change, but GIS maps, just a $1 or $2 increase on a couple of the larger sizes. That was actually the first slide. That's the one we just talked about. Table 4, this is where we just goofed and missed a chunk of fees. And these are primarily for contractors. These really don't or normally wouldn't affect individuals or, you know, an individual resident. So things like the right-of-way license fees, right-of-way access and utility permits, street and alley vacations. And these are similar to other fee updates, you know, just small updates to reflect the increased cost of doing business. And then this one is also on table 4, street construction and restoration. So curbs, sidewalks, street lighting, and things like that. So again, things that would affect maybe a development or something like that, but not typically an individual. And then some more of these are utility plan check and inspection fees, so water mains, sewer mains, and things like that. No additional changes to our utility fees that we charge our customers. It's just these construction type items. And again, we just goofed and missed a chunk of these. And so our recommendation today is to approve or recommend resolution R 2025-002 be placed on the consent agenda at the February 4th, 2025 City Council meeting. And I will stop sharing.
I have a question.
Yes.
So how was the error caught?
The error was caught by one of our engineers referencing the fee schedule and realizing that, oops, these didn't get adjusted. So he had submitted those for us to add to the fee schedule, and we didn't. And so he was just looking at that and realized it was the same.
All right, thank you, Joy.
Councilmember Althazar.
Thanks. I saw there was one on there we didn't touch on that was for an event application fee. Is that like, is that like reserving the shelter at Tumwater Historical Park, or like what does that pertain to?
I think that would be more for if somebody wanted maybe to hold an event at the park, but not an individual shelter. The individual shelter has a rental fee already, I believe. So this would just be, like, say somebody wants to have a big event at the park, and that might require.
So that fee would account for wear and tear on the grass, increased trash collection, like other things associated with having a larger population of folks in the vicinity.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, that's correct.
I think also it may include where sometimes if people are wanting to do a large event on their private property, we require that they go through an event permit process. So for example, this last summer, Toyota of Olympia had like a big music festival type thing on the vacant property next to the facility, their actual facility, and that requires an event permit. And what that means is it actually comes through the police department, gets circulated to planning, to community development, and to transportation, just to make sure that any issues related to traffic control, those types of things are reviewed and addressed for that specific event.
That one falls under, it looks like it's under finance, you had another column under business licenses. So that's where it's on this, and it's on the same line with the other hearing examiner appeals. I had the same question. I was curious about what the event fee was. So, okay. All right.
If
Well, I
I can
appreciate-
give a
Go ahead.
brief comment on that, the event fee is a change to our event permit policy. That's part of the annual audit that WCIA did. They asked us to revise ours as part of our 2023 audit. And so the legal department has gone through and substantially revised that, added things like insurance requirements and cleanup fees, and more strict requirements for other safety issues and that sort of thing. And so that's the new event permit fee represents.
And it'll be coming to them in more detail.
And you will be getting more detail about that in February.
Okay. Okay, dope. All right. Well, I appreciate the engineer catching this. My concern was, yeah, that we'd already approved a budget and just, you know, how does this affect the budget? So it doesn't, right? This is just our fee schedule as far as,
Yeah, I mean, this is why we kind of hurried to try to get it on here as quick as we could. So we don't want to go too many months with missing out on revenue that these fees generate. So these do, you know, help the revenue side of the budget. So it's possible we missed out on a few dollars from the month of January, but getting it approved first part of February will get us back on track.
all right. So team, do we have any other questions for Troy?
No.
All right. Okay, I'm scrolling back up to the recommended action, Troy. So,
I have it. I'd like to make the motion.
okay,
I move that we place resolution R 2025-002 on the February 4th, 2025 council consent calendar with a recommended action to adopt.
all right. Michael seconds. All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Resolution is approved. All right.
Thank you,
Well, Michael,
everybody.
we got you out of here early. So,
Way early.
so with that, do we have any other items that we need to discuss here? No? All right. Okay, with that, then I will call the Thursday, January 23rd, 2025 Tumwater Public Works Committee meeting adjourned, and stay warm out there. Thanks. Thanks, everyone.